Hi folks, RAYDVD here, welcome to the Movie Reviewers 100 channel again. This week it is movies about filmmaking, and the film I'm going to speak about is a 2008 film, Not Quite Hollywood, which is described here as the wild untold story of Ozploitation cinema. Australia is a relatively young country, and way back in the 60s and 70s and even the 80s they were still sort of discovering their culture and their filmmaking and stuff, and where Hollywood was the epicenter of filmmaking worldwide. Australia was wanting to try and start their own sort of cinema industry and that, and this is where Not Quite Hollywood comes in. It starts off with all the sort of sex roms of the early 70s, the adventure of Barry Mackenzie films and Alvin Purple and all these sort of stuff. The true story of Eskimo and Elm and stuff. Basically, where it sort of mirrored what was going on in Britain at that time as well, with the confessions films and the adventures of like a taxi driver and stuff. These sort of sex comedy films and stuff, and they were relatively popular with the public, but not with the critics at that time, as you can imagine. And then they would go into the horror films, where like your Friday the 13th and your Halloweens were coming out of Hollywood and stuff. There would be films that were pretty good in my opinion, sort of grindhouse, grungy horror films that were pretty good. Compared to like they stood up to like the Friday the 13th films and that. And one of these was a film called Patrick, which it was one of these sort of telepathic sort of films, and basically a guy, he's been lying in a coma, and he has these powers where he can wreak havoc on the nurses and stuff and seek revenge and whatever. And that was just one of the films. There was other ones like let's see, Long Weekend, which was a fantastic film. The Survivor, the Road Games, which starred at this point as well. They were trying to bring in Hollywood stars, and Jamie Lee Curtis, the heroine of Halloween, she appeared in Road Games along with Stacey Keach, who was a known name in the 80s and stuff. And pretty good, like I says, I like them sort of grindhouse horror films. But it's not everybody's cup of tea. If you don't like low budget films, then you might not find the films interesting, but you might find the documentary interesting. Other films like Razorback, where a lot of the quite good cinematographers at that time came out of Australia, and that would go on to you'd see like in the generations that came, you'd have films like Wolf Creek, Saw, Storm Warning, Rogue, these sort of films. And then they would also have the action films as well, and the sort of Roger Corman type, low budget, seat your pants, road films and stuff. A fantastic film that I would recommend is a film called Stone, which is about a biker gang, and there's a guy who gets infiltrated. I think he's a cop in it, and he infiltrates this gang to try and find out the leaders and stuff, and it's really quite brutal in parts, but really good film. Then you've got your Mad Max films, BMX Bandits. You'll probably heard of that because it was the film debut of Nicole Kidman. But the actual documentary is really quite funny in parts. The Australians are known for their dry humour, and there's a film critic on this that really he's quite good. He's quite funny. He's a bit of a snob or whatever, but Australian cinema wasn't. It didn't pretend something that it wasn't. It was what you see was what you got with Australian cinema. Another good film that I would recommend is Walkabout, which I just watched a couple of days ago. Fantastic film, Nicholas Roeg film, and it's good. If you want a quick look at what Australian cinema was like back in the 70s and 80s, watch this and you'll get the wee clips and stuff. It's really quite interesting in that. Sorry, I've been rambling on in this review, or look at film, or whatever you want. It's not a very good review, sorry about this folks, but I'm a bit rushed tonight. Thanks for watching, look out for the guys, they'll be better during the week, and please subscribe and press that like button.